Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Vindy Critic, and I am back after a month-long hiatus. But I wasn't necessarily intentionally taking a break, and I know I said, I think last video, I'm gonna start putting up one review a week. Well, yeah, obviously I didn't do that, but let me explain real quick. I use a really nice Turtle Beach headset for my commentary, and I use cheapo Windows Movie Maker with that Turtle Beach, and obviously I just put up pictures and I go to the narrate timeline option, but for some reason it was not picking up. Like, it picked up my headset and it would like respond to my words, like with the volume indicator, but when I played it back I did not show up. Like, my voice didn't show up, and I screwed around with it several times trying to get reviews out because I've seen several movies lately, but for some reason it never registered and I could not find another mic or headset, so I decided screw it, and every week or so I try and get on for about an hour or two and screw around with it, but I just couldn't get it to work, and I still can't. I found this cheap microphone. This is probably like a $10 microphone that's like teensy tiny, like an iPod Nano sized, that I'm putting against my mouth right now, which I'm probably not using it right, so if I sound retarded in some way, I'm sorry, I don't want to insult retarded people. If I sound strange in some way with my voice, like if you're hearing weird noises on the mic, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to adjust to this until I can get my headset to work. And there's one more thing I gotta explain. The next several reviews will be from films I saw in the theater, and I don't want to do that because, in my opinion, those YouTube channels that review new release movies in the theaters as they're released are a dime a dozen. There's so many YouTube channels that go to the movies, review whatever movie's currently out in theaters, and just do that all the time, and that's great. That takes a lot of dedication and probably more work than I'm doing, but I'm trying to stick to a little niche of reviewing older movies primarily. I may review some newer movies, but I'm going to all time periods. I'm not just reviewing new. I may obviously review some new release movies, which is all I've done so far, but I'll go back to the 90s, to the 80s, to the 30s. I'll review any kind of movie that I feel like reviewing. But I feel like I should say that just as a disclaimer, because the next several films I'll be reviewing are either in theaters now or were recently. I don't know what happened. I usually, actually, because I'm broke most of the time, but there have just been several movies I've been fortunate enough to go see in the theaters, and unfortunate enough for some movies. But anyway, I usually don't go to the movies a whole lot unless there's a big release. I mean, I know I call myself a movie fan, but what can I say? I'm broke, like I said. But my point is, I'm not the channel that reviews all these newly released movies. I don't do that. So I may look like that, since the next several reviews will be from movies that are in theaters right now, but it will not typically be like that. So I'm reviewing The Last Stand, which is really my first movie review that is not Les Miserables related. So let me get started. I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, so The Last Stand is apparently the Arnold Schwarzenegger comeback movie, as it's been labeled. It stars, of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger and a lot of actors and actresses I do not know, and Johnny Knoxville. So before I really dive into the review, I feel like I should give you a background on my feelings with action movies. They're some of my favorite movies to watch. I think if they're made well, they can be vastly entertaining, and I mean, come on. I know they're not critic movies, but if you really just want to watch a movie and just have this escape feeling, if you just want to get away from the world and just have fun at the movies, nothing beats action. Nothing as far as entertainment quality, I don't think. I mean, again, I love those critic movies. I mean, some of my favorite movies of all time are critic darlings and are the opposite of action movies, but as far as me saying I don't give a crap what I'm watching, I just want to watch something and have fun, I put an action movie. And usually it's an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. Arnold Schwarzenegger, I know he's not a good actor. I know he's horrible, but he's one of my favorites. And I don't care about the sexual accusations. I love the guy, no homo. I think he's awesome. He is so much fun to watch. And he's, on the screen to me, so likable. I mean, it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Will Smith especially, probably a little more than Arnold, but both of those guys are extremely likable on the screen. And so when I heard Arnold was making this movie, I was so hyped. and I saw the trailer, and I wasn't entirely sure, and I saw the movie, and I felt about the same way I felt after watching the trailer. Okay, so basically the movie is about this extremely fast Corvette, I think. Yeah, and it outspeeds a ton of stuff, and it's driving from the Mexican border for details that you can see when you watch the movie. And meanwhile, Arnold is the sheriff of this small town. He doesn't really have much of a job. He's probably fixing to retire, really. But, job's not that hard. Just does a few chores every now and then. But it turns out that they'll have to get through his town to get to the Mexican border. And they decide to set up a blockade and work to stop him. And that's really the gist of it. There's not... obviously, they had a dragged-out chase scene that lasted a good while, it felt like. It showed them getting ready to set up the blockade and all this good stuff. It had a few side stories, but that's the main plot. There's no really a big point to jump into the others. That's like on Die Hard talking about that news reporter who was trying to get stuff on John McClane's family. It's there, it's relevant, I guess, but all you need to know is that he's in a building fighting terrorists. And yeah, I think the movie was overall fun to watch. There were some inconsistencies, alright, spoilers, but this one really bothered me. Alright, so this car basically trips out a helicopter. It jukes him out, and the helicopter loses him. Mind you, it loses a helicopter. It does these fancy tricks to basically flip over one and juke out a second police truck, and yet at the end of the movie, the guy just zooms right by their barricade, which I expected. Or blockade. Blockade. And Arnold gets in, I think, a Charger and keeps up with him and manages to overpower him with his car. I'm sorry. Now, I know it's an action movie. I know it's an escapist thing. And I don't like to think extremely hard, about... about inconsistencies in action movies, because they exist in all of them. But these really bugged me because they spent so much time in the movie talking about how unstoppable this car is and how incredible it is for Arnold, an old man, mind you, to get in a Charger, I think it was, and overpower him. Give me a break. Plus, for the Arnold Schwarzenegger comeback movie, there really wasn't a lot of Arnold. Now, hear me out. He was the main character. There's no question about that. He was in it more than anyone else. But it didn't feel like it was enough to be his movie. I'm not sure. There were so many supporting characters, especially those that were not in their town, that had so much screen time. It bothered me from time to time because I came to the movie to see Arnold, not some random person, And that bothered me too, because I'm sitting there watching these boring CIA people, and I'm like, get back to Arnold, get back to the action, the explosions, the guns, and they did towards the end, and it was good, but it felt a little, too little, too late. And one of this movie's most noticeable flaws, this movie, an Arnold Schwarzenegger action movie, his comeback movie, did not have any boobs in it. Yeah, that's it. That's my major complaint, really, about the movie. The inconsistencies bothered me, Arnold not being in enough bothered me, but the boobs, yeah. I'm being serious, too. That was a serious complaint. I was looking out for him. I was hoping for him. So, would I recommend The Last Stand? At the end of the day, I'd say yes. It's not one of the best Arnold movies. He's made much better movies than this before. Terminator 2, Total Recall, Kindergarten Cop, and I'm serious, I actually like that movie a lot. But, seriously now, this is not one of Arnold's better movies. Is it a solid comeback movie? I don't know, that's an opinion. But, for this targeted audience, Arnold movie lovers, it's fun. Again, I watch action movies to have fun, not to be critical of them, primarily. I still am, obviously, but usually they're just popcorn movies. And as a popcorn movie, again, there are better movies, like Commando blows this out of the water, in my opinion, as far as entertainment. But, yeah, see it if you really want to see it. If you don't like Arnold and you think, oh, I may try and like him now since he's coming back, this won't win you over. But if you're an action fan, I think you'll like it enough. I think you'll agree that he's made much better movies, but, it's a likable movie. So at the end of the day, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. I'll see you guys next time when I review something.